Hi, Misha here, and one of the new firearms that I was really looking forward to trying out when we get back to the cabin finally is this. The herein Koch MR556A4, and I went with the rifle, 16.5-inch barrel. I know a lot of folks are going for the 11-inch pistol though. Of course, chambered for 5.56 NATO, 223. And a long time ago, when this channel was very young, we looked at the original A1. Fox still has an A1, and I had one for a while, but I did sell it. And I thought that would be that. I've been very happy with my LMT Estonian, is kind of my piston 556AR. But this one tempted me, and actually, I ordered it sitting on this very swing when I was out here at the cabin back in January. So it came in after that last trip. So I had to wait a little while to try her out. And it's raining now, but luckily the rain held off a few days this week where we were able to get out and shoot it. And so I want to share what both Fox and myself thought and why this may be more attractive to me than the A1. And to share our results trying out with different mags. But yeah, since it is raining and we're starting to lose daylight, let's head in and hang out on the couch. How about that? But first, if you could, please do like, share, and subscribe. I know it's boring, but this is what we go for. And if you'd like to help support us, check out Patreon. Alright, first shots out of the A4. How about tearing the safety off? That was Fox playing with the safety earlier. So, yeah, obviously, successful first go with the mag pull. There are some guns you test to make sure they function. This isn't one of them. I would have been amazed if this didn't at least run. I'm not saying I don't expect issues out of anything. I mean, everyone makes a lemon. But, yeah. And as far as that safety, really like it. You know, most people say this is a semi-mag version of a 416A5. However, this 45-degree throw and ambidextrous safety is actually more of a feature of the A7, A8, and I was very pleasantly surprised when this rifle had it. It's very much the traditional HK MP5 style, and yeah, I really do think it's nice. As far as the whole mag pull mag thing, look, the mags work absolutely fine. But it's just so boring when you know HK makes some interesting mags themselves. And, you know, we'll get to them. Very traditional here. And newer here. The only thing is I didn't bring out the green waffle this time. Oh well. Another anticipated feature of this rifle we have here, and I'm curious what happens when we switch it. Curious if I adjust the gas. I know I'm not sure I feel the difference.
No difference yet?
Not much. That setting has just a tiny bit more thump. Either one's pleasant. So, as you saw there, either position, it works fine for us. And if we didn't have the long handguard on, you could come in from the front. And I just wanted to try that out because some guns, that LWRC, for example, with adjustable gas, meant for suppressor and normal, when you put it on the suppressor setting, the system just doesn't get enough oomph. But no, this ran fine. And hello, Peanut. And really, I only noticed just a little bit more felt recoil in the normal versus a suppressed. So frankly, if you feel a load you're using is a little punchy, you might switch it over. But no problems there. And I do dig the way this feels and its feature set. It does have the forward assist, of course. I don't think it hurts anything. It's there. Port door, of course, brass deflector. Now this is a polymer port door. I think this is a good idea. Polymer, by this point, is more than strong enough for it. I like that when it folds down, it's not going to mar up your receiver. And I also like, if you're in deep cold or heat, metal on metal, even alloy metals, can be a bit of an issue. Also, metal can bend. I've had more than a few alloy port doors bend. This isn't going to bend. It might flex, or it might just break. But I actually think polymer port door is a really decent idea, as long as you're using good quality polymer, which, guess what? HK. Another post 416A5 feature is the ambidextrous extended charging handle. The original A5s, it was swappable, reversible. I believe it was the French that actually had them do this pattern. So technically the 416F, a later version of the A5, started to have this. But it seems like it's carried over to the A7, A8, and the like. This mag is nice because while these steels are just built awesome, they do add weight, especially if you're carrying several. And the original green waffles, while they're very interesting, they were known for spider web cracking sometimes, which was actually seen on a lot of translucent polymer mags of that era. The MR556A4 has most of the updates that folks have been requesting. The original MR556A1 isn't a slouch in its own right. It just wasn't really a current 416. So, as a basis of comparison, let's dust her off too. Now I'm going to try Fox's old A1, although this is one of the late A1s with the slimmer barrel. Muzzle brakes. Pros and cons. Fox's 556A1 is a great gun, and he really has enjoyed it over the years. And as obnoxious as that muzzle brake is, and as much as that gun weighs, it does mean that it is incredibly stable. And I will fully admit that this one has a little bit more kick to it. Although the recoil impulse is interesting. We'll talk about it later. That said, I like the controls. I like the adjustable gas. I like the furniture. And I absolutely like the lighter weight of this guy. Not to mention, this is so much closer to a military gun. But that's just, my first thoughts, opinion. Let's toss her over to Fox. Get his. Now Fox's first go with the A4.
Wow.
Well, wow is not a bad first impression. Obviously it ran fine for him. Put the old school mag in. Why not? Well, he's very, very familiar with it. But sometimes you forget the small things. And these are very close in a lot of ways. So let's let him do a back-to-back as well. Now Fox with the A1. can definitely tell you that muzzle brake is putting these new Swordens to the test. I think I felt my nose hairs move. I can tell you one thing. Muzzle brakes. Look, when you're behind a rifle, they really do help with muzzle flip and all that good stuff. But when you're off to the side of one, they're rough. So back to back, what do you think?
Well, I just feel they're two different animals, even though they're the same gun.
Yeah, it would honestly be probably a lot more fair if they had the exact same accessories or lack thereof. And of course, how many rounds has yours had? Several thousand?
Oh yeah, we're probably up to close to 4.5.
So that's...
maybe 5. So you can definitely tell this one has broken in. The triggers are going to be very, very similar. I almost thought on the new 4, I thought the A4 had a better trigger, and then I jumped back on this and realized they're probably about the same.
I told you, I feel like that one is a little bit better, but I think it's 100% just being broken.
Yeah.
But let's put the mag that it should have shipped with in. Now I'm gonna give it a go with the HK mag. The polymer bar. I really like that bolt release there. I do notice it has a little spring in the tube. Absolutely no surprise that mag ran fine. And I do like the controls. So far, Fox hasn't really commented on the ambi controls. Very standard mag release here, like the bolt release on this side. And the alternative mag release is nice and big. Although I know some military operators have had issues with them. If you look at my LMT Estonian, one of the few complaints, that I do not have many, but one of the few I have about it, is the offhand mag release is a little small in that gun. Now they have added fencing here. It's not the most aggressive in the world, but there you go.
The grip is a little different. I'm really used to these Magpul generic rubberized grips. I do kind of like that pistol grip on there. It would take a little bit of getting used to. The whole setup just seems smaller. When a lot of people look at this A1 setup, even without my accessories and all my usable features, they say, man, that looks like a heavy gun. And this new A4, I'll say, in terms of looks and even feel, it does seem lighter. I'd be curious to see the weight, or if it's just only a look deal.
It is, although again, your A1 is the lighter A1. If you had one of the early A1s with the heavier barrel and the quad rail, those were chunky monkeys.
Yes.
It's interesting how some people respond to weight. I'm starting to realize that Fox sees it as a feature of his MR556A1, not a bug. And that's fine. We all have our different needs and purposes. The furniture layout on this is really completely different. And it does kind of change the look and the feel of the gun.
Aim down just a hair because you can hit the target. Here you go. Perfect.
I will say, when it holds open, there's none of that jarring feel at all.
No.
Like some ARs have.
Yeah, you get a little feel that you know it's open, but it's not like an uncomfortable...
Some of them you just feel like that stop.
Yeah.
What I was saying was, when it's empty, some ARs, you can really feel the jolt. This one, you do know, but there's not a lot of concussion. And even going forward, it's smooth. It's a nice smooth gun, even if it's new. Stock has very sturdy lockup, but it's not difficult to move. I also do like that the button is very flush. No issues there. Of course, no storage compartment, pretty straight line butt plate. These are the M-lock handguards. In Europe, you're going to see more H key, and to be fair, a lot of the earlier A1s had the H key as well. Just, you know it, but this is threaded half by 28, so you're not committed to this, and this is just a B&T stubby grip I threw on for the range trip because I haven't quite configured it the way I like. Another thing, this has a very standard AR mag well, so that pretty much any mag, including earlier mag pulls, will fit. I never at all minded, never even ran into the issue with the A1 and its unique mag well of some mag pulls not fitting, but it's there. I do like the extended castle nut. Not only is it stronger, when your stock is fully collapsed in, it abuts right up against it, which just seems like it just doesn't leave that little area there. I like it a lot. And of course there's a QD socket in the rear, hollow grip. No built-in iron sights on the rail. And while your earlier nuts would be capable of being taken off using the bolt head, the later style is just this bolt, and I'm fine with it. One thing I do like is it's a captive bolt now.
No, I'm a fan. These are my favorites. When Misha first brought this particular gun over to the house about 3 years ago, I pretty well knew I had to have one. Just shooting it and that piston upper makes such a huge difference. But man, this brake obviously helps too. But
oh yeah,
I do like the bigger handrails. That was obviously a noticeable feel, being able to see grip all the way out. That gave me an extra 2 inches, I would say, out there. I think, what is this, probably a 13-inch, and that's probably 15.
I think it's 11 and 14, but you're close. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So you get a little bit more hand placement. The rails are going to be notably thinner. Holding the A4 was like a whole different animal as far as holding it. But really, I'd like to put one more mag through it, especially since I've kind of hit the A1 up again and now go back to that A4. I think that would help clear.
Something that didn't get brought up by Fox, but the push pins, the pivot pins, are now standard versus the type that either require a tool or frankly a bullet tip will work on the A1. The flip side to that, this does have a little bit more wiggle, especially after shooting, but that shouldn't affect anything at all. Early days, we both need more time to kind of get familiar with this gun. As exemplified in this clip. How was if I do the release right? Yeah, I was hitting that fence down there. Yeah, you can see maybe the release and this shelf actually feel very similar, and I just put my finger up and was trying to push down on this versus this. Very small thing, but this fence is very flat right there. Oh well, something that time and training and experience will iron out. And I really do think that's part of the reason Fox does seem more comfortable with his A1. It's just experience, time, and of course it is kitted out the way he wants. This one is very bare minimum. Knockoff of an Elcan Spectre DR 1-4. I actually put it on because that does seem to be what Germany's going with. On the other hand, this is a couple $100 sight. An actual Elcan Spectre is a couple of $1,000. Even if I could see, I doubt I would spend the money. But absolutely, since I can't even see to use it, that isn't happening. But it does have the adjustable magnification. It does have the reticle inside. You know, it gives the look, and it doesn't add a ton of weight. It even has backup sights on top. Like I said, I'm still kind of playing around with its own configuration. But I can tell you one thing. I'm not putting a muzzle brake on, at least not that one.
Alright, I can give a little more talky about this now. Obviously, mine's going to have a lot to do with it. It's not that it's a punchy gun, but with it being bare like this, it does move all over the place.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Even with a good C grip out here, you can see in the camera that was gripping it real well. but it was bouncing around. So it's not that the gun itself is punchy. As far as it hitting your body, it is not punchy at all. But its recoil management, being able to get back on target, definitely see it would take a little bit of getting used
Your
to.
gun physically, I wish I had a scale here, but with everything on it, not to mention the gun itself, it is definitely a heavier weight gun, not to mention fly shotter versus
Of
break.
course, of course.
I believe Fox is thinking it's a little more punchy than I do, but I do know what he's saying. There's not much pushback directly into your shoulder. It's the kind of up and to the right flip, and this is just an effect of A, having a short stubby grip on, and B, he's now accustomed to having a muzzle brake, that's what primarily muzzle brakes do, is keep that from diverting. But let's see, kind of in that same vein of topic, if we try it this way. Mag pull. Even off the hip, it's not bad. But still. Yeah, not as fun, yeah. But it does work, and I've fired much worse. Again, for example, that LWRC seemed to be a little thumpier. Piston guns do tend to be a little more than direct impingement. It's a give and take.
The trigger, I will say, once it's broken in, I think it would feel a whole lot like my A1.
I think they're identical, frankly.
Yeah, I do too.
Upon reflection, I think we both like the trigger, and if there's a difference between the broken A1 and the still quite new A4, it's so small that neither of us are detecting it, and that's a tribute to these triggers that HK is using in them. I actually dig that pistol grip.
Yeah, this is a cool gun.
I wasn't sure what I thought about the grip when I first got it, but kind of liking it.
It needs a butt plug. I want to be able to put my batteries in
I
there.
know.
Why? You got the whole cut out
Yeah.
there, HK.
I think it was a weight thing. I think they did it to, but yeah, I agree.
Just a rubber 3D printed butt plug.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Other than that.
Wait, which kind of butt plug?
Yeah.
Held open. And, with the A1, people complained about weight, so they reduce weight. When you do that, that's the other end of it.
Yeah, I mean, you start cutting down on weight and getting into slimline features, just like this butt stock. I'll be honest, I don't like this. I could understand how this is going to be better for a military application. Yep. Maneuverability, packability. It's not. I threw my chest rig purposely on for this just to see if it got in the way, but
We come to something I completely disagree with Fox on. He really likes that big, chunky stock with the sling loops and storage. I do not. I really enjoyed this slimline stock. It's not slim. It locks up great. The butt plate sticks to your shoulder. It's not a sharp edge. No, I really like this stock, and I think it goes very well with the relatively slim, kind of minimalist looking grip and relatively slim forearm handguard with these little rubber sections on. I like these a lot.
I think if you're someone that has held on to the A1 for several years now, that's my primary AR, it does seem a little wonky going into this. It honestly feels like a whole new platform. This feels more of a pistol than it does a 16-inch AR-15, which is great. A lot of people like that.
Yeah, Fox just weighs enough that this feels like a pistol. And guys, this is not a light gun. It's even set up this way. But I get what he's saying. I mean, the barrel doesn't protrude much from the longer handguard. And you might be wondering why I didn't go with the 11-inch pistol. By the way, the reason HK went from the 10.4 barrel to the 11 had everything to do with the new adjustable gas system, both to give room for the regulator plug and also to make sure there was room for a suppressor to screw on all the way. So that's the reason for the 0.6 update. And I considered the pistol. I really did. But after feeling the recoil on it, again, I don't think it's bad, but it would probably be more noticeable on the pistol. And I don't know. I'm happy going with the carbine, and I know that's not the choice most will be making. That's something a lot of folks were excited about with the MR556A4. because the A1 was only ever offered as a rifle with the 16.5 inch. Of course, one reason I went with this is because the current Bundeswehr G95A1 has a 16.5 inch barrel. And if you can't tell, that's me being me and military collector, a huge reason that got me to kind of reconsider the MR556A4 because of German adoption. But I digress. You know, everything is subjective. We all have our own reasons. Fox likes his for hunting. Right, Peanut? Why do you like yours? And that actually brings us to a good little point here about barrel. With the original, folks criticized the weight of the barrel and the fact that it wasn't chrome lined. Well, they addressed the weight factor, but these are still not chrome lined, and that is probably the #1 criticism. I get it. Now, to be fair, the barrels come over as blanks, so the steel is not only German, but it's cold hammer forged, and then it's, you know, cut to length and threaded here in America. So the steel's good, and the hammer forging's good. 1 in 7 twist, all that good stuff, and these are delivering MOA accuracy, give or take, with ammo. Chrome lining really helps with cleaning. Now, this being cold hammer forged steel, the rifling should not wear away. But if it does, if you shoot this out, HK gives a lifetime warranty on the barrel, saying if you shoot it out, they will replace it with a new one for free. So objectively, not being chrome lined in the bore should not matter, and actually it could be of a benefit to give you better accuracy. If you shoot it out, fine, send it in, get a new one. So complaints about not having a chrome lined bore at this point are subjective. It's because you just want chroming. And you know what? That's fine. There's a lot of things I like subjectively. I have these out for another video. One thing I really like about my G36 is that it has a bayonet lug. Is it useful? Is it practical? No, but I'm really happy it has it. I think having the chrome bore and an A4, considering the barrel replacement offer, is about like having a bayonet lug. Which, by the way, it does not seem like the German 95A1 is going to have a bayonet lug. But either way, it's cool to want things, and I think that adds a lot. But we have to be realistic about what we are and aren't getting. HK has given a story about why they don't chrome these, about not being able to do it, yada yada. Frankly, it doesn't really bother me. If anything, if you gave me the choice between a chrome line bore or the G95A1 QD handguard, I'd take that QD handguard in a heartbeat. I really hope they bring those over one day, because as far as I understand, you can drop that handguard onto this barrel nut assembly, and that was something I'd really like to do. And I think that would get this pretty close to being a Gewehr 95A1, which is kind of my main thing here.
What more out of an AR-15 could you want? Like, this is perfect. Yeah, I would buy one in a heartbeat. I love these guns. The only thing I don't like is really this buttstock. It is so thin. It's the typical ugly HK.
I guarantee if you went on to any HK forum, someone would swap you one for one for an old stock.
I like the old style ones.
Yep.
I like the store, the
I don't think you'd have any trouble having either that or maybe like an actual LMT SOP mod.
Yeah,
you know,
a
real one. I think someone would happily swap you stocks. Boy, he's really hung up on this stock, which is funny because it's something I actually like, and he actually just doesn't seem like he can get over it. But a regular stock will fit, either an earlier HK or any AR. This is a standard tube. I mean, I don't like that it's coming with the Magpul mag, but that's something that can be fixed. Rarely are they gonna ship a gun exactly how you like it. In fact, the truth is, a lot of ARs today don't come with the stocks or grips that I like either. They tend to go a little more tactical than I prefer. But, oh well. At the end of the day, you absolutely cannot please everyone. You just kind of do your best. And I will say that this, I like it. I'm not disappointed. That was the last shots fired. 100% reliability. I shouldn't have to even mention that, but yeah, no weird issues there. Let's kind of go and get Fox's final take.
I know this is a lot of money for a truck gun, but this is just set up to where you can grab and be able to be mobile so easy. This would be a great hiking. I mean, it's a military gun. What more can I say about it?
And for me, the fact that it is military is why this is more attractive to me than the original A1. I liked the A1, but it didn't quite feel military. At least by the time the A1 came out in 2010, it felt like it was the older features. It wasn't quite the first generation 416, but it definitely wasn't A5. And that's why when I saw that it had the newer safety and bolt latch and everything, I was pretty tickled, because I thought I was going to get an A5, which, you know, is about a 10-year-old design now. But this is pretty close to current issue, again, except for that dang handguard. But I think not getting the QD handguard bugs me less than, you know, not getting the big old fat stock. And I do actually really dig this pistol grip. The large trigger guard is pretty neat. Happy this has a good feeling trigger. Still wish it had iron sights, but most guns are just not coming with iron sights anymore. Not just HKs, but any of them. And I actually do like this Magpul forearm. I considered putting one of the shorter ones on, but this is one of the few extended forearms that doesn't offend me. It's not big and chunky and heavy, and it doesn't go literally all the way out to the muzzle. That bothers me when it's right at the muzzle. Enough sticks out that I think it still looks classy. This looks like a serious gun, a military gun, not a uber tactical, I don't know, all those terms folks use, you know, video game gun. Obviously a 416 is, but it was based on, from the very beginning, the requirements of military special forces, SOCOM, Delta, and then it kind of grew from there. Norway, France, and now Germany with the Bundeswehr. The KSK and KSM have been using a version almost identical to this for quite a while. Don't think if I have any other final thoughts, but no, not really. It performed just as I expected it would. And I think it'll really fit in well with my other Bundeswehr clone guns, even though it'll be a little bit of a project to maybe get exactly the right parts. No, this one is worthy of a sling. I do declare. And you know, the money, the prices are already coming down to close to $3. I don't know how much lower they'll go, but I will say the A1 was about there. That seems expensive, and it absolutely is, but then look at other quality piston ARs like LWRC or, you know, LMT or whatever else. They're $2 something anyway. And yeah, Heckler & Koch, it's a brand name, just like Colt's a brand name. What are you going to do? But no, it's not like $5K. And that's the thing, guys. Folks were paying nearly as much for the Brownells BRN M4 as these costs, and these are genuine HKs with hammer forged barrels. Yes, the Brownells M4s had chrome lined barrels, but they were button rifled. And if you give me a choice between either cold hammer forged and non-chrome lined or button rifled and chrome lined, most of the time I'll take the cold hammer forged, especially when it's Teutonic steel. That's just how it is. Not dogging on the BRN M4. I think they did a great job, but you know, consider what folks paid for those. Not to mention those Hurricane Butterfly Hurricane guns. Oh my dear Lord. Well over $6 for those. And they had a non-HK barrel. And then there were the handful of MR556A1s or A3s, whatever, that Arms Unlimited imported. The last one of those I saw went for over $8,000. So, while in a vacuum, 3-ish seems expensive as hell for this gun, compared to what other 416 types have been going for in recent years, I'm gonna be honest, it seems like a dang bargain. And it just happened to come out at the right time for me. So, I believe this would go into the safe as a keeper, and I'm really interested to see just how the Bundeswehr kits out their Gewehr 95A1s, although there were more delays. And I considered putting a lot of the historical information in this video, but no, I just wanted to review this directly. But, as I said, you know, we'll get to that end of the video. I'm not sure if you can hear the frogs. They're starting to hatch. The rain on the tin roof. Man, this is great. I love being out here. But that's our review of the MR556A4, at least initial impressions, and why this one is tempting to me. But you notice in this video I didn't talk much about the G95, G95A1, and hey, give me credit, I really avoided going into history deeply. That's because we'll do a different video. In fact, I'm planning to do a full Bundeswehr week, or Bundesweek video, going back and comparing the G1, G3, G36, and of course now the new G95. But I thought, no, the A4 here deserves its own close-up look. And we'll do more with it. I'm still not really set up the way I want to be. For example, I'm really thinking a bipod or maybe a grip pod for the forearm would help. Might change out the iron sights. And more importantly, just want to try it out with more types of ammo, including steel case, because I am curious. And the rain is picking up again. And I've got some work inside I need to do, like fun things like dishes and laundry. So, appreciate you hanging out tonight. Please share in the comments what you think of the HKs, pros or cons. And if you'd like to help support the channel, check out Patreon. If not, we understand. Money's tight for everyone. But you can at least like and share with your friends, subscribe, and comment. That commenting helps a lot more than you'd think. With that, this is Misha. And also, on behalf of Fox, who had to head home, we'll both catch you very soon.